Hi everyone, welcome to the Ravit Show. We are here at Evolve London. I'm with Chris from Cloudera. Chris, welcome to the Ravit Show. Super excited to chat with you today.
Hey Rabbit, very excited to chat with you as well, myself.
Yeah, Chris, just for audience, would you like to quickly introduce yourself, tell us more about what you do at Cloudera?
Yeah, certainly. So I'm the field CTO at Cloudera. So what that means is I travel
A
across the whole
lot,
of the EMEA region,
right?
meeting many different customers
Yep,
across different industries,
yep.
at different stages of maturity, let's say, in terms of their transformation, whether they're building out modern data platforms or whether they're moving to the cloud. I get to meet and talk to all of them.
That's fantastic. I'm kind of, also wanting to learn about the announcements that y'all have made today. Cloudera just announced its a launch with AWS European Sovereign Cloud. Can you talk me through that? Tell us more about that partnership.
Yeah, we're thrilled to be a launch partner of AWS on their European cloud. This is the sovereign European cloud that's being built out.
Yep.
I think one thing to always back onto when we talk about this is both Amazon, AWS, and Cloudera have been building sovereign capabilities for a number of years. So to bring those together
Yep.
with the Cloudera platform on the cloud infrastructure and capability is a superb opportunity for us both.
Yes, for sure, and definitely strengthens the joint partnership that you'll have. But at the same time, for the customers, it just becomes more interesting, but gives them more confidence to be, in the EMEA region, and they can do so much more.
Yeah, I think one of the things we were talking about, we had a fireside chat earlier, and one of the themes that came through was number one, customers,
Customers.
and number two, choice. So what that is we work with customers that require strong, well, let's step back, right? People, process, and technology.
Technology.
That's what this is about.
Yep.
And then bringing that to data, analytics, and AI, putting it inside the boundary of a geography and a legal framework that's within the boundaries of a nation state, let's
Yep.
say. So that's
Yep.
what sovereign means, kind of, and then there's different ways of interpreting it, depends on regulation, and it will change
Right.
by country as well, so different countries will approach it slightly differently. So then you say, okay, so how does this apply to customers?
Yes.
Well, we have a number of customers that take our cloud platform, Cloudera platform, and they put that in a form factor on-premise in their data center. And what that enables them to do is treat their Cloudera platform as a cloud in their data center. So they own the data center, they own the servers, they put the software on top, they manage the data, they manage the workloads, the AI.
Love it.
And then they bring the people and the process to that they need to serve other organizations within their governmental boundaries
Yep,
or within
yep.
their regulated boundaries, such as financial services, as an example. So we already have a number of those examples deployed across different regions in Europe.
Yeah, people, process, technology right in place and making sure where the customers feel a lot more confident. So that's awesome. Chris, another one, just sticking on the topic of sovereign, obviously, what does sovereign by design specifically mean in practice? How is it implemented technically? Do you have anything that you can share around that?
Sovereign by design can mean a couple of things, and think of it as a series of layers. So the first layer would be something like Amazon's ability to deploy into regions, the ability to create a virtual private cloud which isolates your network in that region, so the
Right.
client then has full control over their boundary within
Right.
that region. Within the Cloudera platform, what we do when we lay that on top of AWS is we make sure that we're orchestrating into that account and therefore have no access to data or workload. We're just orchestrating the workload. We never touch the data, so the customers don't have to sign a sort of data sharing agreement with us or anything of that nature,
That's
and we
nice.
genuinely can't access their data. And so these are layers that you build up. And what we've now got with the European Sovereign Cloud is optionality. So those organizations that have deployed on-premise, it's worth asking the question, okay, why isn't that okay? Why can't we just carry on with that? Well, there's two dimensions that I hear when I talk to customers in that state. One is we'd like to onboard more tenants.
Yep.
That means we need to expand capacity of the data center.
For
We
sure.
need more servers, we need GPUs, we need new resource.
Totally.
And so what you find is they've got to then think quite deeply about the time that takes and the supply chain demands on that process. And so what you find is an urgency. We'd like to move quicker. And so what cloud brings, and sovereign cloud as an extension
Yep.
of that, is faster time to value, if you like, they'll be able to move with greater flexibility, switch on and off, and burst between, it's like an incremental step, rather than just bursting from on-premise to cloud, you'll be able to burst to sovereign cloud or cloud, and you have that choice.
Nice.
And I think that's the key here.
Yeah, the choice is something what you mentioned earlier, and this is exactly the choice the customers
absolutely.
and obviously the community gets. That's fantastic. Switching gears a little bit here into AI, because obviously everyone wants to learn more about AI, and how does this kind of fit into the broader AI era in? Can you share a little bit about that?
Fun fact, I did a lot of research in artificial intelligence, and I got my PhD in 2000 in AI.
Amazing.
The only downside with doing that is it's a little obsolete now. So I had to take away the skills of deep research and critical thinking and that kind of thing.
Yep.
So now, I'm curious, and it came up as a theme in many of the conversations. I have a natural curiosity, so I ask questions about how do these things work.
Exactly.
Then you get organizations say, we don't know. So, okay, I actually do need to know. So I like to click into the detail within my role. And so as I'm talking to organizations today, we're seeing examples of organizations that have started fast and they've experimented.
Yes.
They've gone out to maybe a cloud service and they've used that cloud service. And then once they've started to scale, and also once they've started to become quite considered about which data they're moving from their own boundary to a remote boundary, a third party, like an outsourced resource, if you like, they're starting to think more deeply about what that means to them strategically.
Yes.
So we're seeing organizations start to think of almost, we used the phrase earlier in a conversation, insourcing their AI, bringing it back in-house so they have control of the data that's flowing to and from the models,
Yes.
the metadata going to and from the models, the model itself, the weights that are behind it, as well as any assets they build on top. So typically what you find with an organization, once they get a model, they'll either do some prompt engineering or fine-tuning to tailor it to their culture, their brand, their way of communicating with their customer. You would like to retain those assets. You'd like to be able to bring them back inside your boundary and have a degree of ownership. So it's giving you back that control for your AI. And the key to the way we think at Cloudera, and we're hearing it the same from our clients, is bringing workload to data was always our key philosophy. You want to do SQL analytics, bring the compute to the data.
Right.
Because it's easier to move the compute. And AI is the same. I normally do these things with a prop, and the prop is very simple. I've got a large language model on a 1 terabyte memory stick, which I can drop straight into my NVIDIA development board, and I can read that large language model directly out of memory and run it live, okay? And that memory stick is about this big.
Yeah.
And so my question then is, which is easiest to move, 20 petabytes of data or this memory stick?
Yeah.
Because that's your large language model.
Yeah.
And it just kind of puts it into context. So it's
So true.
always bring your model and always bring your AI to your data.
This is so good. Thanks for sharing these insights. I'm pretty sure our audience is loving this. Also wanting to know, in terms of the demographics, the industries in EMEA, which industries are benefiting from this, and how have you seen this resonating with other demographics, maybe in EMEA itself?
I think we've seen, across different industries, what we're seeing in life science is an interest in discovering new things faster through very broad data scans and multiple analytics, almost simulating scenarios at vast scale in order to find that pin in a haystack. So that's traditional, quite advanced analytics, in some cases using very, very advanced AI, but really looking at recomposition of compounds and things of that nature. So it's going through vast amounts of data.
Yep.
So life science is very much about that drug discovery piece and bringing the cost down. What we see in terms of AI is a lot of financial services organizations are moving fast. I had a conversation recently with a regional bank, and they did something very simple. I thought it was right. I like this. Because you always need to find a problem to solve, but have a fallback as to why you solved it.
Yeah.
And the fallback was very simple. The CIO said, I want to improve data literacy.
Right.
I've got a whole pile of people in the organization that want to use Gen AI, but I can't let them free reign, right? So what we'll do is we'll take all of our data controls we have across the bank. So can I access data, yes or no? Under what controls? Who do I need to speak to? What steps do I need to take? Why don't we just install that in a knowledge base that anybody can ask questions of.
Yes, for sure.
And so what this did was, number one, it gave them a knowledge corpus of all of the data controls across the bank. Number two, everybody in the bank could use generative AI. Number three, it helped elevate data literacy across the organization. So it's like, this isn't just about AI, this is about other wins that you've made as well.
Exactly. And when you speak about knowledge base as well, what I kind of also feel is knowledge base can be controlled at the same time too with the data controls. Like you mentioned, right? What data needs to be given access to whom, which team needs to see what. But is it also when you kind of, talk to their customers, like customers that you have, and they have their own customers as well, right? The consumers. Do they have something like a knowledge base as well that they can go back to and, ask questions and maybe uh, get, different files that they need?
Absolutely, yeah, so you've nailed it, right. So the example I just gave was kind of the first steps you might make.
Right.
Another good example is you might look at your call center operations and use a small voice model like Whisper, say.
Yeah.
And the reason you're going to do that is it's going to come at a low cost, but a high return, because you're going to reduce your call center operator time.
Exactly.
The post-call time, you're going to drop to zero, and that can have huge savings.
So true.
But then we want to engage with the customer, and we want to bring that AI to the customer.
So true.
And so, but that's part of a journey, a series of incremental steps you take as your confidence, understanding, knowledge, and expertise grows.
Very important.
And so we do have customers today using our Agent Studio and similar technologies
nice.
to augment financial analysts in that advisory role.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, an AI can do research across domains faster than you. And the other thing I want to say on this topic, large language models have had this thing hanging over them. They hallucinate. They've got cut-off dates. Let's debunk all that. When you put a large language model, either ground it with a knowledge base, retrieval augmented generation, or you integrate it as part of an agent architecture, agentic in nature. It can search the web, so it has no date cutoff. You can ground it in a fact base, so it has no hallucinations.
Yep.
And so these things now, we're starting to overcome those risks, let's say.
Yes,
and so we're building that confidence in the AI and the models themselves and their way of behaving by bringing the architectures required around them to bring more control.
That is definitely a game changer for sure. So thanks for sharing that. Chris, one more question for you is more broadly, what is the practical path for organization in EMEA to meet these tightening regulations without, worrying about innovation?
I apologize, I just had to check my watch very quickly there because I'm on stage in a few minutes.
Yes.
So one of the things that if you asked about practical steps, I would guide people toward maybe three things. As I said on the round table that I did with AWS around Sovereign Cloud, the first step you should take is a deeper understanding of your enterprise-wide data flows, from where data is born to where it's consumed for insight. Understand what change might look like, and maybe even simulate that change, and then start to work toward an environment that can accommodate constant change. The second thing I'd also explore then is, with our latest data service release, we've got two key features that customers can explore. One is our inference services. So bring that AI inference into your network, into your data center, into your virtual private cloud. And then on top of that, bring in our Agent Studio. And Agent Studio will enable you to sit on top of that inference service and build really cutting edge, I can't even use the phrase, like bleeding edge, modern frameworks for reducing hallucination to zero.
So true.
Grounding the model in facts. No longer has a cut-off date in terms of its training. You can now start to benefit from these capabilities, and if you're in financial services, support your financial analysts to do research across as many domains as you can imagine. So it's really doing things you could never do before, and you can now do that on the Cloudera platform.
I love it. Chris, these are fantastic insights. We'll definitely keep the conversation going, but one last thing that I have to ask you is, if folks want to reach out to you, which is the best place? X, LinkedIn, where are you?
LinkedIn. I'm reasonably easy to find. Royles spelt wrong, so Royles. And it's been a pleasure, Revit, to speak with you today.
Such a pleasure chatting with you, and all the best for your stage performance now.
I'm just about to talk about AI in a box, so
Oh,
it's the work
nice.
we're doing with Dell and NVIDIA, so it's a very exciting, again, yet another announcement at
Exactly.
the event. So,
I could touch a little bit about that with Sergio as well in his interview. So great things that you all are doing. Excited for your chat, and thanks for doing this.
absolutely, thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining us today.